Selena the series part 2 is finally out. I'm curious, have you been on social media? Have you been checking out like the fan reaction? What have you seen?
I try to make a habit of not going online. My motto is do your best work, give the best performance, be as honest as you can be on screen, and then forget about it. But I'm human, so I snoop here and there, but for the most part, I try to stay away from it.
Okay. Have you snooped at all?
I feel like everyone for the most part is really happy, which I'm pleased with, because this was a big deal for me. I've been a fan of Selena my entire life, and this meant so much to me, and I was so nervous, and I just wanted to do a good job. So when I see people happy, I mean, it's all you can ask for. So I'm thrilled.
Those moments where you're at the Houston Astrodome, where you're at the Grammys, those like really key pivotal Selena moments, you absolutely nailed. What was your research process like where you were, really diving in and embodying these crucial moments?
It was just studying the moments that we were going to be filming as much as I could, and just looking for those tiny details, like things like the Grammys. I thought it was so interesting myself. She even does her speech in a different way that we've ever seen her speak. For me, I noticed a difference in her speech pattern and how she accepted that award.
I'd like to thank Capital EMI Latin, Jose Bahar, for making tonight possible and having faith in us 4 years ago.
I'm really glad I paid attention to those things, and I'm so happy that people noticed those things. It made me like all warm.
100%. And I personally love that you had the lipstick on the microphone.
Always. Yes.
I want to talk to you for a second about YouTube, because in my opinion, it's a blessing and a curse. It's wonderful that we have this platform that gives us so much footage of the real Selena and what her life was like and her work. But then we also have people who are like, let's do a side by side and let's compare the details and the nuances. What do you feel about that?
I love that I got to utilize it as a method of studying, but I understand what this is, right? When you play somebody who has lived, somebody who's made an impact the way that Selena has, and just lately what we're doing with films and television that focus on, a celebrity's life is people do side-by-sides. That is now a term used in this industry is, the side-by-side, the side-by-side. For me, I don't like that. For me, I'm like, we shouldn't be worried about the side-by-side. We shouldn't be worried about people comparing. My focus was her and just being as honest as I could in my portrayal of her spirit. I'm never going to be Selena. I'm never going to look identical to Selena. I'm never going to move, no matter how many people help me and train me. I'm never going to move identically to her. Nobody will. Nobody ever will. And because of that, I went, screw the side-by-side. We just need to focus on bringing her energy and her soul back and that spirit. But that is what happens. It comes with the territory. So I was like, well, since we're here and since we're in it and since it's something that we're talking about, I have to try. That's all I can do. And it'll never be perfect, but I'm happy with what we did.
The white Grammy dress and the updo hairstyle, it's just timeless and iconic. So the first time that you got to see yourself in the dress with your hair and makeup on, what was your reaction?
If I focus too much about what I'm doing or how kind of excited I am to live in this moment, I don't think I'd be able to work. I never really get excited or jarred or like, oh my God, this is it. I'm her. I feel like her. I can't believe I'm in this moment. As I just work. And so actually a couple times, Hiro, our director and EP, had to come over to me. She knew me so well and say, remember to enjoy this. Remember to realize where you are right now. And every time she said that to me, I would just cry because I couldn't believe where I was. I couldn't believe I was getting to tell this woman's story. And so that's what would happen to me when I thought about it. So I would just focus on the work.
I want to talk a little bit about Chris and Selena's love story.
Do you, Selena Quintanilla, take Christopher Gilbert Perez as your lawfully wedded husband?
I do.
I now pronounce you man and wife. You may kiss the bride.
Have you had a chance to chat with the real Chris or connect with him, hear what he thinks about the series?
No, and I would love to. I got to chat with Suzette, and being such a fan of Selena, you imagine like, oh, it'd be so nice to have met her or to have spoken to her family, or to hear anecdotes about her or anything. And so I'd like to speak with all of them. They all have different relationships with her. And I would love to, hear whatever he had to say about her. People ask me, what did you and Suzette talk about? And that's private. I'm going to keep that private.
If Chris is watching this interview, is there anything that you would like to say?
Just hi and thanks. And I hope you liked it. And, I'd love to chat.
I would be remiss to not ask you about the final episode. And I have to tell you, as such a fan, it was tough for me to get through that episode. So I cannot imagine for you as an actress what it must have been like to be there in those moments, in those final scenes.
I don't think anyone really focused on that last episode or those last scenes. The filming process was so much about her life and how joyful she was and how wonderful she was, that we forgot that, at the end we were going to have to film this very sad moment. And so I kind of blacked out. But on the day, it really hit me. And it didn't hit me until I was sitting in the car. And I realized that I was wearing the same clothes. I was wearing the same everything. And I was like, oh man, I'm playing my idol. And I'm kind of walking in the same steps she did before this terrible moment. And that was awful. I was like, I don't want to do this again. I don't want to do this ever again. This is terrible. This sucks. And it is what it is. I think that we did it in a very beautiful way. It wasn't about the terrible moment. It was about how tragedy can affect the people around you, I think. And I think that's more compelling.
And I love that you end with something happy, like Bitty Bitty Bum Bum, a song that makes us all smile. Is there one scene or one performance that you're just truly so excited to give to the fans?
Oh, I don't watch things that I do. So I didn't watch the first season in its completion. And I didn't want to watch the second part, but I watched The Astrodome, and I just think it's something really special that I haven't seen done before. And I just think everyone did a really good job. Hell, I think I did a good job. So I'm happy for people to see it.
You've done such a brilliant job telling not only an important story about a musical icon, but she's a woman who is part of, the Latinx landscape. And so my question to you is, what do you do next?
I want to tell all sorts of stories. White actors don't have to play their ethnicity, but we always have to play ours. And I'm very proud of my heritage. And I want to tell stories of very strong Mexican women. I want to be able to tell stories of amazing, Latin men. I want to be able to tell a story that doesn't focus on my heritage, because I'm allowed to do that too. But I think that's the point, is being able to do whatever I want to do. And I want those doors to be open, and I'd like to hopefully open those doors for other people too.
The idea of playing someone who is a real life figure, would you do it again, or is that daunting and you feel like that chapter has closed?
A couple times towards the end, I was like, I'm never doing this again. This is so hard. The stress, all the pressure. And I've said this before, I think that pressure keeps you working harder. It keeps you honest. It keeps you on the ball. And I think I might've gotten the bug, because I kind of like it. So maybe again.
Is there a name that you can share, or any names that you've thought of?
Not yet.
Okay.
My baby says that all the time. Not yet.
Well, speaking of your beautiful baby, your daughter Wolfie, I know she's very young, but Mom is doing some real important work on screen. I'm curious if you've shown her any of the clips from Selena the series.
I think we've played her some Selena songs, or maybe some Selena. Maybe we have played her a clip or two.
And what was her reaction?
Not yet. I'm busy. Something. I don't care.
Cool for you.
Yeah, she's way cooler than I am. But I like that. She'll see it in her own time, and whatever she makes of it, she makes of it.
I have no doubt she will be so impressed. And I want to end with a very hard-hitting question. I think one of the scenes in the series that fans are going absolutely wild for is when Selena meets a very young Beyonce, Solange, and Tina Knowles in the mall.
Hold your sister's hand. Tie it up to your waistline.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Who are you looking at? Who's that?
Selena.
Tell me what your reaction was to when you saw that that was incorporated in the script, and what do you make of that fun little pop culture nugget?
Oh, I thought it was so cool. I thought it was so cute. And I thought, you know, that's what this story is about, is inspiration and inspiring young people to follow their dreams, whatever those dreams are. And I just thought that was such a cool moment. And I did the same thing everyone else did. Did that really happen? Did that really happen? I think it did.
I did actually meet Selena in the Galleria Mall in Houston, but I didn't say much to Selena because I wasn't a celebrity, and I just saw her and said hello and kept it moving.
I always make jokes about if this means, is this going to be my connection to meeting Beyonce?
I mean, girl, if we were deprived of the Selena Beyonce collab that, you know, would have been fire.
Yeah.
I would love for you to finally have a moment with Beyonce. That would be unbelievable.
Okay. Well, yeah, let's all put that out in the universe.
Put it out there.